Good morning, Toastmasters. This is kind of an exciting panel today, and we're going to focus on probably the lifeblood of Toastmaster clubs. Because if you don't keep your current members and you don't attract new members, the club has a challenge. And I know many of you have lived through that probably more than once. But it's a little bit like breathing. You have to breathe. There's no question. You have to do this. But it's not the only critical job of all the roles. So we have a couple of objectives today. One is to demonstrate to you that the VPPR has a wide range of alternative approaches that they can take to achieve those objectives. The other is to let you know more about what the job entails, what they can do, because a lot of it's behind the scenes. It's things they do after the meeting. Because one of the key things we want to do is to have you know enough about this role so that you'll be comfortable signing up for it. Because that's what this is all about, is learning about these jobs, taking them on, and not necessarily taking them on without any prior knowledge. So that will be our goal. The approach we're going to take today is I have some questions to ask these panelists, and they've been prepared to respond. They have those in advance. And then what I have is some questions to ask you, because this is not a one-way communication. We want to make sure that you have a chance to ask questions of them based on what they've done and their experience, but also for you to share some thoughts about alternative strategies or actions that might be considered. So I'm going to be asking for some input about some of you and how you were attracted to join Toastmasters. So let me begin first by giving each of the panelists a little brief chance to introduce themselves. Both of them have been recognized, their clubs have been recognized for doing a good job, and I think they will demonstrate alternative strategies. So Kelly Fallucca, who is at Public Speaking Northwest, and I've been on that team with her for a long time. Kelly, do you want to say a little few words about how you got there and what you do?
Sure, thank you, Warren. I've been the VPPR for Public Speaking Northwest for the past 3 years because no one will take the role after me. So I am here to tell you it is not scary. I also produced the marketing materials for our last conference, Pathways to Brilliance.
Great.
I'm Jason Williams. I've been the VPPR for Willows Voices for a year. I've handed the position over to Suba. It is an interesting position. You're both the face and the welcoming committee for your club. You have to reach out to people, but it's not comfortable for me to cold reach out to people like, hey, maybe you could improve your speaking skills by coming to this club. It's one of the things I've been getting better at. One thing about VPPR I want to focus upon is if you're thinking about sales or outreach of any sort, this is a great opportunity. You become better at that, you become more comfortable about that, and it allows you to grow faster by forcing yourself to do that.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, let's get right into it with our first question. And I'll start with you, Jason, since I started with Kelly on the introductions. How have you allocated your time and resources and energy between an objective of keeping current members happy and getting them to sign up again versus expanding the membership through different paths?
My main focus has been growing the club. We have a VP of membership that is really good at reaching out to people, keeping them, I was going to say accountable. Keeping them engaged would be a better word. My main focus has been growing the club. And there are several ways of doing that. First is Facebook. It's a really low cost, low energy way of reaching out to the community. You post an event, try to do this every week. David, who's been very gracious about sharing his knowledge about this. And some of the things he pointed out, post on Monday. Don't post on Sunday, post on Monday. And it helps reach more people. The other thing is we'll find a lot of people don't actually join because of the Facebook ad, but it will start them thinking about it. They'll start to reach out and say, well, I'm interested in this. Let's look up the local club. And then they'll go on to Toastmasters International and they'll find the listing and they'll say, hey, I'll go to this particular club. So one of the things I want to touch upon, VPPR's job is not to get them to join your particular club all the time. It's to get them to join Toastmasters, which seems kind of counterintuitive, but it gets things moving. The other thing is, I'm dressed in a suit. I don't normally dress in a suit. However, when I walk the halls of the company, they say, why are you dressed up? My tagline is, I'm job interviewing. And I'm like, no, what are you really doing? I now have this perfect segue. Now you stepped into it. Now I got 2 minutes of your time. Member of a public speaking club. What is that? Oh, Toastmasters. What do you do? And we go through the entire set of roles and responsibilities. And then we're a hybrid club. So I get them to call in and get them to try before you buy. And that allows them to ease into it. So several of my colleagues now have joined the local Toastmasters club in the company as well as just in general. Didn't answer your question directly, but trying to give you an overall encompassing idea.
That's great, Jason. Thank you. Melanie, how do you balance your work against retaining versus attracting?
To answer the question about how I allocate my time, we have the opposite problem, actually. We have a solid membership. We're 29 members, and our sweet spot is about 22 to 25 because we want to have spots for speaking and for people to take roles. So I actually spend 80% of my time on the membership, getting them excited about events. I look up what the fun day is. If you go to HubSpot for the 2025 social media calendar, it gives you all those crazy days like National Hot Dog Day, and I'll put out a notice that, hey, we're going to do this on Zoom, or I also do events. So we meet the first Tuesday of every month, and then every other month we are online. So I try to do raffles and event-themed meetings when I can for our in-person meeting. Then the other 20% of my time is outreach. And I really focus almost 100% on our website because most, I would say almost all of our new prospects and our members come from Find a Club on the Toastmasters International site. And what's sad is not everybody responds quickly. So if someone tried out to outreach to a club near us, they don't respond, we end up getting them. So that's how I build my base, is keeping my website super interactive. I'm changing it up every week. I have a welcome video, and that's my main platform.
Thanks, Kelly. How do you define your target? Years ago, and it's more years than I care to share, when I was in this role, I thought we needed to shift our target to corporations, small to medium companies in the region, and focus on the HR directors to offer Toastmasters as an employee training and improvement activity. So that's kind of what I thought the target should be in terms of time. That didn't work out real well because it was more of a requirement for my resources than I had possibly to go and call on all these companies. But there is a target difference. Kelly, how would you say, do you define, is it either demographically or geographically or psychographically? How do you define who you're going after and want to retain?
Thank you. As far as target audiences, because I came into an established club, we had a wide range. We have young adults that are about 20 to 30. We have professionals like myself that are still out in the field and we need to get out there and polish our public speaking skills. And then we have a senior community of people that really built our club, and they've been with our club a long time. So for those of you who don't have established clubs, niching down might be your thing. Like if you're in a business center, you might want to niche down to marketing to business professionals. But for us, we have this everyone is welcome. And it's worked out really well because we have the mentors from our senior people, we have our younger group, and then we have our mid-tier business professionals. So I market to the gamut. And how I do that is you go where your audience is. Most of our audience, is on Facebook, so I do Facebook events. And I don't do a lot of Instagram and all the other channels because they're just a waste of time. We get most of our leads from Facebook and the website. So I encourage you, do a little audit and see where you're getting your prospects. And if you're not getting them, then target a campaign. Either go broad if your club is broad, or narrow down to professionals or young adults or students.
Thanks, Kelly. Jason?
One of the things I struggle with is listening to people on hybrid meetings say every other word. We have very senior level people inside the company that say every other word. And it's very hard for me to be constructive. Sir, you have a very senior position. You need to go to public speaking training. And so I've been trying to bridge that gap. But I've also found another group of people that are very hungry. Like they're technically very savvy at what they do, but they can't convey their ideas. And these are conversations that are way easier to have because I can say, yes, I understand your technical or why you want to do that. But you lost your audience here. And that is where I'm really reaching out because I work for a huge company and it's very easy for me to say, you're great at what you do, but your communication style could improve. And so now that's translating into I can recognize that you want to grow in your career. So I'm really targeting professionals and just being able to, as I spoke earlier about how to approach someone cold and say, you hungry? You want to grow faster? You want to get to the next place? Perhaps Toastmasters can help you convey your ideas and your concepts and your thoughts. Because after you pass your technical part of your career, you're going to hit a ceiling. And then how you get beyond that ceiling is how you communicate with people. Can you go up to someone and have that conversation? That is a really key thing to growing your career. Velda, she's one of our most inspiring stories. She's come to Toastmasters and has been speaking for her forums. And I get the impression she wouldn't have done that beforehand. And this is a great success story. So it's identifying the people that are willing to learn, wanting to learn, even the people that don't want to learn, and giving them the opportunity. Hey, this is hard. You're going to stand in front of a group of people and you're going to speak your thoughts without saying perhaps the wrong word, using a filler word, and helping people get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable and trying it. But Kelly is also great at identifying demographics. I'm in a different spot, and I was struggling with how do you get that conversation started? You seem to be very outgoing. I'm not that way. So you also have to adapt this conversation to who you are and your personality type. Some people are going to be able to do this very easily, and some people are not. They're going to struggle. And also keep that in mind. There's also lots of resources. David provided several audio recordings that actually talk about how to grow your club. And one of them was pretty obvious. Go into a store, a big store, Safeway, whatever. And you don't look for the manager of the company or that store, but you look for the box boy. And you say, you want to grow your career, you want to get out of this, you want to go up. Well, maybe coming to Toastmasters and getting surrounded by people that are trying to grow can help you grow. It allows you to communicate more clearly. And these are one possible way. As you get more outgoing and you start to do that, it becomes easier. So those are a couple of the possibilities. That being comfortable with uncomfortable is probably your best bet.
Thanks, Jason. I think I want to underscore a couple of his comments. When you're at a meeting, whether it's a corporate meeting or another organization you're involved in, and you're listening to people speak, or a team that you're on and you have a team leader, and you hear them stumbling with their presentation to you, when you hear the and the ah and the so's happening, when you start hearing that and saying, boy, that person needs to come to Toastmasters because they could get beyond that, move their career. And it's almost become an interference with my listening to some people speaking and missing the point of their talk because I'm so focused on being an evaluator and listening to the pauses and everything else. But when that starts happening in your head, you know you're just in stride and ready to take full advantage of this organization. I think that's a fantastic thing to remember. The other is the box boy. In my case, it's my grandkids who are at college age, and kids today who spend a lot of time gaming and over electronic communications, and they have a funny vocabulary. Those people, after they get out of school and want to find a job that pays them money, have to improve. There is no way about it. And there was a survey that I read sometime in the last 30 days. They were surveying hiring people from the HR department for corporations. What percentage of them would even consider a new graduate for a job? And it was not quite 50%, but it was a scary number that basically said, if you're fresh out of college, don't even send me your resume because we know you can't communicate. That's a challenge and another opportunity to go talk to the box boy and make it happen. So I got a third question for you. Think back during the past year or two of a campaign, an idea you had, something new you tried, and what was it and how did it work? Kelly?
Thank you. Probably my favorite and the one we got the most reaction to is our YouTube channel. Believe it or not, we only have 45 subscribers, but everybody talks about it when they come in because I don't use YouTube for promotion. We record our speeches and evaluations and we don't edit them. So you see the ahs and ums and all the crazy stuff that happens. And the miracle of it is it's a legacy for our club members because Warren and I both have a lot of proteges, so they can see where they started in their first speech and where they landed. But then when people come to our website, in addition to the little icons, I highlight our YouTube right on my homepage so people can see that we are real people. We're not polished all the time. We make mistakes and this is a journey. So YouTube has been my most successful campaign and the one I'm personally most proud of.
Thanks, Kelly. Jason?
Most successful campaign. I think that has to be Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
When I joined the club, we had approximately 15 people, and we've grown it to roughly 25. And members come, members go. But the one thing is you have to be consistent. That is the biggest thing. Whatever your outreach is, remember no will be a common question or a statement or just no show. And that's okay. But don't let that deter you. Just like any other sales position or outreach position, you have to accept no is going to be a standard answer, and that's okay. Whatever works for you, keep doing it, but also be mindful that you could improve it. The other thing that isn't being talked about here is time, your personal time. putting a Facebook ad up is not a lot of time. But the thing is, did you remember to do it Sunday? Did you schedule for Monday? Did you actually do it Monday? Did you really do it? Did you do it every week? Did you schedule it out multiple times? That is the biggest thing about this position, in my opinion, because it takes a lot of work over multiple weeks to have that, and you have to be consistent. Otherwise, you won't get the results you're looking for. I think that's the biggest thing. Personally, I set aside Sunday night, 1 hour, just before the evening is winding down. I try to do all my Toastmasters stuff. Now, I was trying to post the videos. We have a YouTube video as well. But also place the Facebook ads, place all of the outreaches you're going to for the week, and be mindful of that. But the main thing is, whatever method you pick, be consistent about it and continue to do it.
Thanks, Jason. I think that's a key point that Jason makes there, is that you have to commit a certain amount of time, but more important than that, it applies to everything else you do in your career and your personal lives, and that is getting organized a little bit and knowing when you need to do these things and making it happen, because the whole club really is relying on it. And in the case of public speaking, those people who have spoken and those people who have evaluated can trust that they can go to the site and take a look at their talk, because that's one of the ways that we can best improve our own skills. In addition to hearing the evaluation as a part of the meeting, but going and watching yourself give the talk. You know, you're like, oh man, did I do that? Why? Did I say that? I mean, that's good feedback. You're giving it to yourself, but that's going to help you improve. So that's a great way to do it. One thing that I'm kind of a fanatic on, and I had to work with VP membership because it's a team effort, and that is monitoring your business like any other business person. You need to see whether that time and energy you're putting in, and it's a collective thing. This is like any sports team. No one position runs the whole show and can take all the responsibility. But working with VP membership and saying, okay, how many new people came? How many people came to as a guest? And then how many of those converted to members? What was our percentage of retention every year? So Kelly, tell me how you work those numbers and work with VP membership and understanding if your job's working well.
Thank you. Like Warren, me and my VPM are best friends, and she keeps a spreadsheet. And how we do it is we tag team as officers. Because again, like Warren mentioned, it can't just be one person's responsibility. And VPPR, we have a lot of production work. Like Jason said, we're making ads, we're making videos. So how we manage it is Maria is our current VPM. So as people come in as a guest, she'll put it in the spreadsheet. They'll come to the meeting, and we've allocated the time at the end of every meeting to kind of chat with the guests. So we say we're going to hang out for 10 minutes, especially if we aren't on Zoom, we'll hang out 20 minutes, answer any questions, let them get to know us after the meeting. Then Maria will follow up with them after. And then if I snatch their email, then I'll usually reach out to them, because it's fun to have multiple people say, come play with us. Make it easy breezy. Have you checked out our YouTube channel? You can see how easy it is to speak. So it's like she's the bad cop, I'm the good cop. I'm like, it's fun, it's easy, come join us. And then Maria's like, here's the form, sign, be a member, right? So you have to have your whole officer team involved to be successful, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Jason?
I'm new to VP membership, so I have filled both roles. I have being the public relations aspect and the membership now. The membership part, I'm still growing. That's the beautiful thing about Toastmasters. No one is an expert at a particular role. That's why we volunteer for these roles, to push ourselves and to improve. The main thing is I like to take some cues from Kelly here, and well, maybe we need a spreadsheet. A couple of the things that we're also pointing out during officer training, which is another great way of getting exposure to your role, is they'll have a member panel, a call, and you'll get to ask a set of questions. What does the role really entail? How does it really work? What are your key responsibilities? What are your key challenges? And you get to ask this person many questions, and it helps you understand what the role really entails. The other thing about our club is we have officer binders, and they actually entail what the role is. So after you have the conversation with the officer training and you also look through the binder, you get a great view of the world. The other thing is, gotta be willing to call people that haven't been arriving or been regularly attending. So once again, they're not good on the phone and reaching out to people. It's another great opportunity to get over that. So keep in mind that no one that ever comes into an officer role is really ready. And I believe one of our members of the club did a speech upon, you're never going to be ready, so just do it. Just reach out there and do it, because that's going to really move you forward, in my opinion.
Thanks, Jason. That's a key point that he makes there. You're never ready, ever, to take on a task. And the one thing I've enjoyed with this club is the number of people who have taken on tasks shortly after they joined the organization and have been willing to do it, and the support that they get is fantastic. So I think that's a key step. I want to ask a question. How many of you have joined in the past year? New.
Wow.
How did you get hooked?
I saw it on Facebook.
Facebook?
And it's right down the street from me, so I said, you know what, that looks like a good way to practice my public speaking. That was it.
That was great.
Yeah.
And what made you think you needed to practice your public speaking?
Because I'm terrified of getting up in front of people.
Your own fear.
Yeah, my
was
own
enough.
fear, but that I have a lot to say, and it's important to say it.
That's
Yeah.
great. Suba, what hooked you?
I was looking for a place to practice my public speaking, and I actually encouraged one of my team members to go to a Toastmasters because I thought they could improve. That's when I thought, why not me?
Great. Now, has anyone had a review at work or a coworker suggest that it might be helpful if you join Toastmasters? No. Oh,
I would
yes.
say the other way. I was always recommending that. I was advocating to people on my team.
Yeah. Now, that's a thing I think we should, and that again goes back to my argument that we need to call on corporate HR people and have them put that into part of their annual or semi-annual discussion with people, that they know, like Jason said, they've got all the basic skills, but they haven't been able to move forward because of their discomfort in sharing things with their boss or their one-over-one or their fellow team. And that's the great opportunity that Toastmasters can bring in. Now, we're getting close to wrapping up, and I've worn out the panel from my questions, but I'm wanting to have you ask questions of them. So do we have David?
Toastmasters is really just a means to an end. So everything we do in this is for another purpose. Being VPPR, what have you found that you've been able to take the skills you learned as VPPR and use in your life having nothing to do with Toastmasters?
That's me.
Sure.
Believe it or not, I am not a perfect speaker. I'm Italian. I speak with my hands. I speak really fast. So being part of the bigger marketing team of the conference was really good for me. It helped me kind of slow it down, work with a bigger team. And in working with the conference, it's led to my own personal business. I own a production company, but I want to bring back Charm School. It bothers me that there's 60-year-old CEOs that are afraid to tell their story on stage and that young people are afraid to contribute in their meetings. So I actually trademarked the phrase produce your powerful presence, and I'm using Toastmasters for my practice to launch that this year.
Thanks, Kelly. Jason, you want to tackle that question?
I'll try. The hardest part about this, I found myself, my career had stagnated. I've reached the top of the Peter Principle. And I got tripped up in my words a lot, even though I had really good ideas. In Toastmasters, helps me slow down, think about what I want to say, how do I want to say it, and be way more constructive. The other thing it's helped me do is for my reports, I'm way more sympathetic with my criticism in coaching them gently to where they need to be as opposed to where they are and helping them recognize how they could grow. I've been very mindful of that lately, and it's been very helpful to Toastmasters for helping me teach that critical feedback method.
Thank you, Jason. I think we need to wrap it up, and I want to thank the panel for taking their time. They were involved earlier with I sent questions. I'm sure they take a few minutes of their valuable time to think through and have responses for that. And they also followed my other guidance, which was to try to use elevator conversation to make these answers quick and brief so we could have more conversation. And I told them it's a 2-story building, it's a short elevator, and they followed my guidance. So I want to thank them. I want to thank you for participation, and we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.